Denison women's swimming and diving placed fourth with 288 points, marking their 11th straight top fourth finish at nationals. That is incredible. And as the director of athletics, I can't tell you how much pride we have for the women's team and just the job that you did, not only at nationals, but all the way throughout the season. It was just incredible. As we look around the room, we look at our current team, and I believe the sophomores on this team were committing to Denison 2 years ago when we were having the same celebration. We would like, as a department, to celebrate every team on every accomplishment, but a national championship is unique and elite. And so having the opportunity to say that Denison men's swimming and diving won its 4th national championship in program history. The previous 3 national championships came in 2011, 2012, and 2016. This is the 5th national championship in Denison University history. As we know, the women's and diving team finished first in 2001. The Denison men totaled 32 top 8 All-American finishes and placed an individual or relay in the championship final of all 18 swimming events. The Denison men won 3 event national championships: the 800 freestyle with Drake Horton, Stuart Home, Baby Wong, Ryan Stevenson, and you know the time. It was fast. In the 100 butterfly, Kaimani Sr. also was, did I botch that name really badly? Is that close enough? Okay. And the 200 backstroke with Baby Wang again at 1:45:37. Denison scored 596.5 points and won the championship by its largest margin ever, 227 points. Now, that was the ongoing backstory. As you know, you had incredible support from alumni, and they're like, Nan, you can calm down. I go, no, the game's not over. And no, you can calm down. No, we can't. We still are going to swim fast on the final day. But the margin was incredible. The 596.5 points was Denison's second best scoring total at nationals. And of course, to say that leadership, our core value in athletics is competitive excellence. One of the supporting spokes of competitive excellence is leadership. Another is teamwork. And those two were so clearly demonstrated by Coach Parini and his staff. To have Gregg named as Men's National Coach of the Year for the 7th time. He is an 11-time National Coach of the Year, 7 times for men, 4 times for women. Did not surprise, our Denison family, but we just are so grateful for the leadership that he displays day in and day out for not only the swimming and diving program, for not only the athletics and Department of Health, Exercise, and Sports Studies, but for the entire Denison campus. That is great leadership. If we could give Gregg a hand. Denison's win in the 800 free relay marked the 100th event national championship in program history, men and women combined. The Denison men have finished in the top 3 at nationals for 13 straight years. And as we celebrate this today, we'll continue to hopefully acknowledge it and celebrate it, but also understand just the essence of what it takes to not only have the leadership of the coaches to provide, but the leadership of the entire campus. This celebration with our partners in student development, but most importantly, having presidential leadership. You saw the president of Denison throughout the competition. We had 1 woman diver in the diving competition, and while Adam is far more patient than I am, there were, let's see, 32 divers for 11 dives for the semifinals. That takes a long time. And he was there throughout. And I think that just demonstrates the commitment he has to our students. He does tremendous work for us as a department. And so, enough said from me. Let me introduce our fearless leader, Adam Weinberg.
Thanks, Nan. I still think one of the diving judges needs to learn to count a little bit better. So this is really fun. It's fun to be doing this again. So first and foremost, just a huge congratulations to everybody connected to our swim and dive team. What you accomplish every year is spectacular. What you accomplished this year is something you're going to be talking about at your 50th reunion. It's a memory for life. It's an accomplishment that should make you really proud. Can we just give them a round of applause? So I want to mention 6 reasons why I'm so proud of this team and what you've accomplished this year. The first is what Nan already said, the points. Lots and lots and lots of points. 596 of them, if we want to round up, 597 of them. That's 220 more than the other teams. We will have t-shirts printed of Denison scores and Kenyon scores, and we'll be wearing them for April visit days this year. It gave you a national title. You're national champions, and that's a huge accomplishment by any standard for any team at any time. But in all honesty, the scores, the points, is really just the superficial reason why this team is so special and why what you accomplished this year fills us with so much pride. This was not an easy victory. As a team, you faced adversary at a few points throughout the season. You very easily could have folded, you very easily could have failed, but you didn't. You pulled it together as individuals, and then you came together as a team, and you fought for this victory. And in doing so, I want you to hear me loud and clear as the president of this university. You represented a set of values that are deeply embedded in the liberal arts and that define Denison. Hard work, ethical behavior, perseverance, teamwork, performance, and excellence. Third, the way you represent this program. Again and again at the NCAAs, I was reminded of how well you represent this program every time you step out into that deck. You go to the NCAAs, and it's a who's who of American colleges. It's Denison and Kenyon and Williams and Bowdoin and NYU, and the list goes on and on. They are a list of the finest institutions this country has to offer in higher education. The colleges that compete matter, and therefore what happens in that natatorium matters probably more than you realize as students. Reputations of great colleges are made and remade in that competition every year. Every time you are there, every time you swim, every time you congratulate each other, the way you carry yourselves, you remind people why Denison is a great college, and you remind people why this is a college that others want to emulate and respect. Third, you do the same on campus. You're not just great swimmers and divers, you're outstanding students and fantastic Denisonians. What's been fun for me the last couple days, I was at the lacrosse game 2 nights ago, talking to a number of faculty and staff about your victory. And what they wanted to talk about was not just how great the victory was, but how great you are as a team and how great you are as individuals and what you do for this campus by just being members of it. In doing so, the way you walk around in classrooms, you live the ideal of Division III athletics over and over and over again. The fifth. From my perspective, having now watched Denison swimming and diving for the last few years, this victory represents a particular value of Denison that I've come to care a lot about. And it's something that Coach Parini talks about every day, performance and excellence. So many of you at the NCAAs performed at a higher level of ability than you thought possible when you first came to this college. You've learned the art of hard working, of accepting criticism, of supporting each other, and most importantly, you've learned the art and craft of pushing through failure to learn to perform at a high level of excellence. That's a set of Denison values. Performance and excellence define this community. They define this athletic program. It's one of the many reasons we're so proud of Denison athletics. This national championship feels like it represents performance and excellence in a particular kind of way that I think you know, a way that captures who we are at our very best moments. And finally, the coaching staff. Can we just give the coaching staff a round of applause? This coaching staff, from my perspective, is clearly the best swim and dive coaching staff in Division III. But they're also excellent educators and they're world-class mentors. They care deeply about you, they care deeply about this college. They define what it means to be committed to a program and to a college. I am deeply proud to work with them. I'm grateful for what they do for this college. I'm grateful for their friendship and what I've learned from them. As Nan said, Gregg once again was named the Division III Coach of the Year. I'm going to suggest that the NCAA would just name the award after Gregg. I say that with a little bit of humor, but I actually say that with a lot of grace and humility. I often look at my own 12-year-old daughter and wish that rather than dancing, she was swimming so that I could demand that she come to Denison to be mentored by Gregg. You are a great coach, but you are also one of the finest educators I've ever had the pleasure of working with. At its very core, Denison is a college that uses the liberal arts to unlock the potential of our students so they can perform at a high level of excellence to be the architects of their own lives. This program, this year, this national championship, you exemplify those qualities of this college. Enjoy your victory, savor your national championship, remember this moment, you've earned it. And on behalf of the college, I want you to know how proud we are of you, of how you act, and what you've accomplished together. It is now my pleasure to introduce the Division III National Coach of the Year, Gregg Parini.
Thanks. That's working. Despite the weather, is it ever sunny in Ohio? It's a great time to be at Denison. We've got a new performing arts center that's being built. Slater's getting a well-earned facelift, long overdue. That extraordinary gift that was just announced for the library, and the admission standards are at an all-time high. It's a great time to be a Denisonian. Before I begin my comments about the men's championship, there is a special group that I'd like to recognize who's here in part, and that's our women's swimming and diving team, who had a phenomenal performance at NCAAs and throughout the year, and are on the cusp of doing some really great things. So I just want to acknowledge the women's team that's here and congratulate them. They had the coolest tattoos at nationals, that's for sure. So well done, Bob. Years ago, during a rash of head coach firings in college football, a well-established coach and a financially secure coach said this: some of the best coaches in the country are getting canned. They're getting fired because their programs stink, but it's not their fault. These people just don't get it. Don't they realize that there are more good coaches out there than there are good college programs? Coach's point wasn't lost on me. The reality is that it takes institutional support to pull off a national championship like we just experienced in Indianapolis, especially having had 4 of them now in the last 8 years. With that said, there are some people that I would like to thank who have all contributed significantly to not only this year's team success, but in allowing us to build this program to where it is now. First and foremost, I'd like to thank President Adam Weinberg for his extraordinary example and leadership and energy that he provides the entire campus, but also to me personally. Thank you. I'd like to thank Nan Carney-DeBord and her leadership team for their support throughout the year. As been intimated, this was not an easy year. Could have gone in a lot of different directions, and her guidance, mentorship, and wisdom helped me and the rest of the coaches see it through. And so thank you to Nan and her leadership team. I want to thank our coaching staff, specifically Kellen and Russ and Kim, Amanda, Bill, and my wife Alice, for their expertise, their energy and passion for working with young people. We're blessed to have the best coaching staff in the country, hands down. So thank you, staff. We also have the best sports information department in the country, led by Craig Hicks and his staff with Kurt and with Brandon. So thank you for all your good work that you did. Outstanding coverage. A quick shout out to our culture coach, Jeff Raker. Jeff is from Cincinnati. I started working with Jeff a year ago. He started working with the team in the fall. I think Jeff's greatest gifts to us was that he challenged us to see ourselves, our team, and the competitive process in new and productive ways. I think we're a better team for having spent time with Jeff this year. Also want to thank our alumni head, Steve Shorney, class of 88, I think, 89, and our devoted alumni for their gifts of time, talent, and treasure that continue to support the program. I want to thank trainer Kyle Matheson and our massage therapist Kathy Cody for helping us continue to move forward through all the aches and pains. I want to thank Chris Kroom and his aquatic staff for having the pool ready for us on a daily basis. Outstanding job there. Thank you, Chris. J.R. Hammond and his equipment staff are keeping our warm-ups and towels in good order throughout the year. It's a small thing. We don't have our laundry done daily like the other sports do, but there's nothing better than having a clean towel. And I know how much the team appreciates it and how much they look forward to Towel Tuesday. Really, it's a small thing, but it's just, I want to thank our friends at the admissions office for continuing to support our efforts down at swimming and diving. Without your support, this wouldn't be possible. Also, a quick shout out to our group of parents who helped keep wind in our sails throughout the year and continued to support the teams throughout the championships. And finally, I want to thank my seniors who showed great vision and courage in guiding and leading our team through what in many ways was one of the most challenging and rewarding seasons we've had in my 31 years here. Last fall, they arrived on campus and we presented them an entirely new program, new way of training, new way of looking at competition. And I appreciate deeply how well they welcomed those changes, how much they embraced them, and how much they encouraged the rest of the team to follow through. I was asked earlier this week how I will remember this team and this season. And while it's still early and there's still lots of processing to go, here are a few thoughts that I'd like to share. I think this team and coaching staff will be remembered for persevering through some extraordinary challenges. Challenges that really came from within, and they had the potential to completely disrupt the season. As with most seasons and most teams, our biggest competition was ourselves. It didn't come from Emory, it didn't come from Kenyon, it didn't come from Williams, didn't come from Hopkins, didn't come from MIT. The biggest competition was ourselves. Overcoming selfish desires and buying into a larger vision of success that embodied a true concept of one drove this team to arguably one of the finest performances that I've ever witnessed from any team in any sport at any level. The men's performance at this year's championships rivals our women's epic performance at NCAA's in 2001, something that Nan spoke about earlier. That 2001 performance is still spoken about, still talked about at NCAAs as one of the all-time great collegiate swimming performances in history. This men's performance this year in Indianapolis rivals that. But let's be clear, this climb to the top of the podium wasn't preordained or written in the stars. Success did not pick us. Rather, we picked it. We could have just as easily picked failure because, as we're learning, failure is always an option. This championship wasn't inevitable by any means. In fact, failure was a real possibility. We embraced that possibility, stood it on its head, and moved in a different direction. This team could have folded any number of times throughout the season. I've been doing this long enough not to take success for granted. I know how hard it is to be at our best. Given all that our young people have to deal with these days, being successful may be harder now than it's ever been before. So many distractions and so many obstacles. This is not to be taken for granted. And just as much as success can lead to success, it can also lead to complacency and apathy. This year's success was a choice by a group of courageous and generous young men whose fine example will serve to inspire me and future teams as we move forward. For that, I'm most grateful and proud to be associated with this great group of guys. To both teams, men and women, I just want to say thank you and to tell you that I love you. Moving forward, I'd like to introduce two of our seniors who will speak briefly on behalf of the team, Jason Wesseling and Aaron Saccurato.
Good afternoon. My name is Aaron Saccurato. I'm sure most of you guys know me, but that's my name. I'm from New York. I'm a senior, and I've experienced the 4 best years of my life on this campus. First off, I'd just like to thank the coaching staff, starting with Greg, one of the best mentors I've ever had. Once time passed, I won't really remember how fast I swam. I will remember this team and the national titles that we have won, but I will also remember all the slogans and lessons that was taught to me by Greg. He's one of the best life coaches I've ever met and one of the best swim coaches I've ever had, and I just really am appreciative of him buying into each and every one of us on a daily basis. Next, Kellen and Coach Kim, Coach Amanda, Bill, and Alice. You guys are some of the best that I've ever had the pleasure to swim with and do yoga with. It's a great addition to the program, and I think it really will help us in the future. Going on, just to speak on this team a little bit, Greg kind of touched on this prior in his speech. However, from an outside perspective, success seemed almost destined for us. Only the guys on the team, and the women as well, know how hard this season was, how freezing the pool was in Florida. By any means, this season was not perfect at all, and it could have gone south very quickly. But I am so appreciative of the perseverance and hard work that was instilled in every one of us by our coaches so that we could persevere and move forward. Another thing I'd like to speak on is just the support that was shown toward us at that meet, not only by parents and alumni, but by members of the team who unfortunately could not have participated. But I just want you guys to know that your voice and your energy was just as important as anybody else on deck. I'm very grateful that this team has such great teammates, people who came over their spring break. They could have gone on vacation, but they chose to watch and support their team, and that really is something I'm very happy about. Lastly, I'd just like to touch on how this team has made me a better person. Through the people I've met over my 4 years here, there's not one person I didn't like maybe we didn't get along with at first, but I've realized that everyone on this team has the same common goal. Everyone on this campus has the common goal, and that is just to be a better person each and every day. Winning the day. As swimmers, we get to wake up and have a better purpose than most people. You know what you're going to do that day, and you know why. And I'm very grateful to have had that opportunity and to have swum on this program for 4 years. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jason Wesseling. I'm a senior from Hudsonville, Michigan. So setting out at the beginning of the season to win a national title is an odd thing, because on the one hand, we all knew that that was the goal. At the end of the season, we wanted to be crowned the best Division III men's swim team in the country. On the other hand, winning is arbitrary. So much about winning depends on things that you cannot control, namely the performance of your competitors. So when we set out at the beginning of the season, we weren't training to win. We were training to perform. We were training to perform at our absolute peak, to perform better than we ever had and swim faster than we ever thought possible. And I think that this team really emblemizes that value more than any other team in the history of this program. So going into the meet, there was a lot of social media stuff flying around about how we were projected to win, and we were projected to win by quite a bit. But we knew that that wasn't for us. That was for everybody else watching. All we were focused on was going to that meet and performing at our peak. And as it turns out, it's a good thing that we didn't pay attention to those projections, because we absolutely shattered everybody's expectations for us. We would not be bounded. And so, truly, this victory belongs to the team. Every person on this national team scored. And I'd have to ask our team statistician, Jimmy, but that might be the first time that that's happened in men's team history. It's certainly the first time that it's happened since I've been here. Every member of this team went out and performed at a level that they had never performed before. I have never met a group of men who was more determined to tear down the walls of what other people thought was possible. And I am just tremendously proud to have been a part of this program. What you've witnessed this year is a step forward in the evolution of this program. To my teammates, it has been my honor and my privilege to lead you guys alongside my fellow seniors, and I'm gonna miss you guys. Semper Avanti and go Big Red.